U.S. military personnel in Syria. Picture, U.S. Marine Corps. A top U.S. politician has expressed his concerns over a hasty withdrawal of personnel from Syria and Afghanistan and warned a clear-cut victory in the conflicts is unlikely. Democrat Senator Chris Coons, who represents Ocean State, Delaware, which has strong links to the U.S. Navy and U.S. Air Force, warned, "We can lose, and we can lose decisively." Mr. Coons was speaking at the think tank Royal United Services Institute in London and raised concerns over the state of NATO and that he is determined to ensure ties remain strong between the United States and the alliance, despite obvious current strains. He also explained how NATO is a key institution against countries like Russia and China. Senator Chris Coons. The senator criticized President Donald Trump's plans to withdraw troops from Syria and Afghanistan, a decision which has been criticized in both the U.S. and the UK. President Trump claimed the so-called Islamic State group were doomed last year as he announced troops would pull back from Syria. But despite the defeat of his edging closer, experts have been concerned over what a U.S. withdrawal could mean. One expert told Forces News that a fast U.S. withdrawal, which President Trump originally wanted, could create a security vacuum in the country for as exercise Trident juncture took place last year involving 31 nations. Picture, NATO. A hasty withdrawal, a hasty incomplete withdrawal as recently proposed by our president in the United States would threaten the military progress and the socio-economic progress made, explained Mr. Coons. "I think our withdrawal would encourage both Russia and Iran in Syria and leave civil strife and space for terrorist groups. A comparable withdrawal and a comparable timeline, which hasn't yet been proposed but I feel is imminent, would have the same consequences in Afghanistan. I'm not saying our troops should stay in Afghanistan or Syria forever, but the presence of U.S. and allied troops prevents safe havens for terrorists. There is not a high likelihood of a clear-cut military battlefield victory in either conflict. After so many years and so many lives, it is hard to credibly talk about winning in Syria and Afghanistan. But we can lose, and we can lose decisively. Point to Yorks in Kabul, Afghanistan." Mr. Coons admitted the terrorist threat remains, despite the advances made by the U.S., the UK and other allies. He said U.S. presence can prevent terrorist groups from establishing large physical strongholds and it is better to fight them, terrorists, over there so we don't have to fight them over here. Britain has been targeting its fighters in Iraq and Syria as part of Operation Shader, with jets from RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus flying near daily missions. The UK also has had around 1,000 non-combat troops in Afghanistan in several roles, providing security around Kabul and training and advising at the Afghan National Officer Academy outside the city. Dr. Julian Lewis MP previously said it is fanciful to believe British forces could stay in Afghanistan if the US leaves.